Hello, guys, gals, and eldritch creatures beyond my comprehension. Today I'm going to be talking about the time that I went to the hospital. Um, I went to the hospital on April 29th through May 2nd. I was there for 3 days. I had to go to the hospital because I was suicidal. Um, my guidance counselor at school was the one who actually made me go to the hospital. Um, I was kind of wanting to go to the hospital anyway because I needed help and treatment. However, going to the hospital was probably the worst thing I could have done. Um, the hospital that I went to was terrible. It was dirty, it was nasty, and they did not help you whatsoever. In my room, there were crayon doodles on the wall because the only thing you could have to write with in the psych ward were crayons because you could stab yourself with a pen, so they didn't let us have pens. But there were crayon doodles all over the walls. Um, there was like a little like Satan that somebody drew, I remember, and there were even those little fucking, I can't remember what they're called, but tally marks. Somebody had been doing fucking tally marks on the wall in crayons, like they do in fucking cartoons when they go to jail. Yeah, that was on the fucking wall. And I didn't see somebody come in to clean it at all the entire time I was in there, and I was there for 3 days. There was like pee on the toilet, and it was really gross. Um, there was a lot of people that came in and went out. There were people who went into the ward and then got taken to jail afterwards. There were people who went into the ward but got transferred to a different mental facility. I just tried to act as normal as I possibly could so they would set me free. Um, the nurses were really bitchy. They were really mean. Um, there was this one nurse named Kayla. Fuck that bitch. There was an old woman with dementia in the ward, and Kayla was very, impatient with her because she would ask the same questions over and over because she was senile, and she would, like, get angry with her over it, which really pissed me off because she's literally elderly and doesn't remember. There was another guy who was in the ward who got out the day before I did, who ended up coming back into the ward like 4 hours later because he pulled out a gun in Walmart, which is crazy. I did have a roommate. Her name was also Kayla, and she was really cool, but she got transferred out of the hospital to another facility in the middle of the night. Luckily, she remembered my phone number, so I do text her sometimes. Um, so I spent a lot of about half the time I was in the psych ward, I spent by myself. Um, it was a very stressful experience. I was scared the whole time that they were never going to let me out because I have really severe anxiety and OCD. So I was afraid they weren't going to let me out. I did get to speak with a psychiatrist twice. I spoke with him on the day that I got in, and I spoke with him on the day I got out. I got prescribed a new medication called Cymbalta, and it's pretty good. It's really the only antidepressant I've taken that works for me. I take Cymbalta. I take 4 different meds for my mental health. I take Cymbalta, Zyprexa, Adderall, and Klonopin. They barely gave me my meds properly in the hospital. I remember I asked one of the nurses if I was still waiting on my meds, and she was like, if you haven't gotten your meds yet, then yes, you're still waiting on them, and it was really bitchy. And this other nurse acted like I wasn't going to get out of the hospital because I asked for the anxiety meds that I'm prescribed. She said, if you want new meds, they're going to keep you in here for longer. And I was like, bitch, they're already fucking prescribed. But, my parents did come to visit me every day that I was in the ward, which was nice. I spent most of my time in the psych ward while watching TV because that was the only thing we could do. The rooms were pretty much just padded rooms, except they had a bed and a TV, and there was no padding on the walls, but it was completely empty other than the bed and the TV was in a cage. But, I did get to watch Shrek 1 and Shrek 2 while I was in the ward. So that was fun. I also met a girl from high school in the ward that I knew. Her name was Sarah. She is also pregnant now, and she's now 21. There was this guy that me and Kayla thought was really attractive in the ward, and I think he ended up going to jail because he got handcuffed and taken in the middle of the night. Not the middle of the night, it was actually Kayla who got taken in the middle of the night, but they took him in the morning. And we asked him, what did you do? And he was like, some stupid shit, and it was funny. And he said, y'all got a good memory? And we were like, yeah, and he gave us his phone number. But yeah, I would not recommend anyone to go to the psych ward. If you need to go to a place, go to a proper facility that'll properly care for you. Don't do what I did and go to the emergency room. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed listening to my little story.